Ec37. Everything is a story. Soul to soul talk. Everything is a story. Life guiding conversations with Morai Amoro and Jenai Summer. Good evening, Jenai. And what would you like for me to talk about? Stories, Morai. The fantasy and children's stories I leave for Jimjara the storyteller, but I can accommodate you with endless other magical stories. I'm ready when you are. Jenai, before I continue, know that all the conversations we had and will have are stories. Stories that others may read about, and within all these different subjects. It is from these stories that other stories are born and written, but know that actually each thought, each word, and each feeling is a story by itself, for they are always connected to images that come simultaneously before us. I never thought about it in this way, but you're right. When we would live more consciously in the moment, we would detect that each moment in our life is a story, because each moment is different. There is always something going on, and not to forget, to make the story even more alive, that each moment is surrounded by images, smells, and sounds. It is for that reason that when we live life being awake and aware, that we would need a complete life to share our stories, and all of them together is our personal storybook of life. Thinking about this, I feel I have forgotten to notice endless stories. But why, Morai? Because we are mostly unconscious, not knowing what is happening inside and around us, and we go too fast. Life passes us. I will try to be more aware of this from now on. Good idea. And also know that your story is a unique story, and that everybody has a unique story. But why do we complain so much about it? Because we judge, complain, compare, compete, and that is not necessary. Each flower, each apple, and actually each item and detail in creation is unique and is a story. It is for this reason that we can write a story about that one apple in a tree, how it was born, how it grew up, what it all experienced and saw, and because each apple is unique and has a specific place in life, it has a unique story. Just for you to know, Jenai, know that only humans who have the gift of realization can have the experience of a conscious story. It is also for that reason that we should live awake and aware each moment, because all these moment-to-moment stories have treasures and messages in disguise, all assisting us in our storybook. This story is an adventure, and a great adventure. But Morai, why don't we see it in that way? Again, it is about judging, complaining, and comparing, and seeking or waiting for another story. We are mostly so busy with the stories of others, watching movies, reading about others' stories, other people's stories, waiting and hoping that we get a different story. And then we forget to discover our own story. We forget to detect all the guidance, and we forget to pick up all the treasures. I can definitely see this, Morai, and I forget to detect and stand still to realize all these incredible stories of everything that happens in and around me. Good, Jenai, because this is very important, as most people do not fully live their own story, and it is always sad for me to hear that people on their deathbed have not too much to say, or just speak about their life story in a couple of minutes, or some may need a couple of hours. I do not mean to say that we all at our deathbed have to speak our story, because there would not even be time for that. But one could experience the contentment of having lived a fulfilled life. There do not have to be thoughts left behind of an unfulfilled story, or wanting to have a new one, because then we cannot experience the story of going back to Kandu the Creator. Departing the body, which we should be aware of that it could happen any moment, and keeping in touch with Kandu on the inside needs to be a consciousness, being in our moment-to-moment story. How is that possible, Morai? Simply, like watching a movie, but knowing that you are watching it. And by doing so, you can experience two stories at the same time. Your adventure story in creation, and your adventure story to find out who you really are and to return to where you once came from. We can do this? Yes. Just like you can hear music, enjoying the taste of food, watching others, and having a conversation at the same time. These two adventure stories are going on at the same time. And when you not have tuned in to the one seeking the real you and your real journey, just start paying attention, for all that guidance is right there in each moment. There is an everlasting light and an everlasting sound inside of us all the time. And that's the essence we really are. And at the same time, the road to return home on again. When I may speak about magic, make sure to be in that self and home search story, because in this one you live happily ever after. And by doing so you can take any fear of death or challenging situation in the worldly story out of the picture. Thank you, Morai, for this story and giving me the inspiration to discover more about my story, or better said, my two stories.